where else would you rather be than right here, right now?
Hey UK Bills Mafia, this is Christian Wade of your Buffalo Bills. This is the Red, White and Buffalo Blues, a UK Bills podcast with your hosts, Matt and Alex. Let's go Buffalo! Woo!
Hello and welcome to another episode of the Red, White and Buffalo Blues, a UK Bills podcast. It's Bills news with a UK twist. Matt and Alex here as usual, and we are previewing the matchup we have this Sunday with the Arizona Cardinals. Alex, how's your week been?
Oh, it's fine. Lockdown 2.0, right? So
yeah,
just enjoying working from home again, whatever. I got the new Xbox, so that's keeping me busy.
I saw that. Colors the room green, apparently. That's you're saying.
Oh yeah.
Or was that just the lighting?
No, yeah, that was the lighting. I have I backlit my monitor, so I can play with that for fun.
That's fair enough. No, it's
But here's one thing that we never do. I
What's
never
that?
ask how you're doing, Matt. How are you doing?
Oh man, damn it! You always ask that question. Never ask that question. I wish this wasn't the first time. I'm all right. I'm starting to get a stinking headache and starting to lose my voice, but that's all work related. In fact, we've got one person off. We're having so many issues with the VPN on there, and it's really causing me a lot of headache.
All right,
I've just received.
I regret I asked.
Yeah, well, then again, I've just received your little care package to me.
Oh yeah.
Yes, with with all the sauces and the marinade, so that's brightened it up a little bit.
The best thing to do is take that Chevetta's barbecue marinade that I got you, and if you're gonna do wings, mix some of that Chevetta's with with some Franks, like 60-40 Chevetta's. That's one of my favorite sauces in Buffalo. One of my favorite bars, Dwyer's, does that. Really good, kind of making me want wings right now. We should stop and just talk about football.
Yes. I mean, before we get on to the preview, I just want to really these two things kind of interlink. It's kind of got me, and I think most Bills fans a bit frustrated. Is that obviously Josh Allen wins the AFC Player of the Week for
He's a monster.
Yeah, Jerry Simmons of Tennessee gets the Defensive Player of the Week.
Who?
I mean, is it Jeremy or Jeffrey? Jeffrey Simmons.
I don't know who the guy is at all. I don't.
Well, he's from the Titans. He's Titans
Okay.
defensive tackle with he had 3 tackles, 1 for a loss or something, and 1 quarterback pressure or something like that. And yeah. We've all seen the stats of what AJ Klein did, and they showed him no love on that, and that's really grinding my gears a little bit. I know on this show we've all really had a go at him, actually belittled him the last few weeks for his plays, but then when he does play well, the media just don't even want to know, and that's really grinding me up this week. But the funniest thing that came from it was when Sal Capaccio actually did tweet it. One guy decided to actually tweet, and he's a Tennessee fan. He goes, and his English is so terrible. And he goes, man, please, 1 or 2 more losses. You won't even make the playoffs. I think he meant won't even make the playoffs. And I'm just thinking to myself, you're saying that we're going to go 12-4, 13-3 and not make the playoffs.
Yeah. I mean, even right now, if we had 1 or 2 extra losses, we still would probably, I think, be in the last playoff spot. So this guy clearly, what bothers me the most about some NFL fans is they don't pay attention to the rest of the league.
Yeah.
This guy probably thinks Josh Allen is still inaccurate. He probably doesn't know that Stephon Diggs is on our team. He stays in his little Tennessee Titans bubble and just, the worst.
I know. I mean, obviously Bills fans have got on top of that and actually roasting it for him.
Oh yeah, get him.
Someone actually goes, "You're crazy. Titan fans can't even get fans to show up when it's not COVID." He says, "Stop trying to make yourself look good. All Titans home games before COVID be sold out." And then another person goes, "Next time you come to your stadium, have some of your fans show up. It was embarrassing for your guys." All we had to rebuttal to that was Bills lost 42-16. LMAO, and I'm just there thinking, mate, you're not getting anything from this.
Yeah, there's a strong possibility that we meet them in the playoffs. So let's just wait and see.
I mean, he goes, "Don't matter. That's like saying you only beat the Jets by 8 points. Love trolling sensitive Bills fans who cry. Don't have two whole countries seeing Bills or Bill with an S capital with an apostrophe S get embarrassed on national TV." I mean,
we don't need to give this scrub any more attention.
I know, but so one more. It goes, "There's no difference in a win and loss. We still beat them in response to us beating the Jets by 8 points." He goes, "Come back to then score 40 on the Bills. That's the case. How can we score 40 points on ourselves? We play offense defense against each other and just say, Josh, both 40 points? Unbelievable."
You know, I would say maybe he was drunk, but then again, it's just Tennessee, so that's what you get.
But yes, no, that's my. I thought I'd just have a little rant and a little bit of bring a bit of entertainment in before we get to nitty gritty stuff. And yes, let's talk. Let's talk Bills Cardinals. It's a Sky game, 9:05 kickoff over here. So people are going to be getting their VPNs out.
I'm already tired just thinking about it.
But yes, let's go on to it. So what do you have for me?
I think that the first thought that I had in looking at this game was that the Bills defense needs to stay in attack mode. I know that no coach in the NFL wants a shootout every week, but let's be realistic here. If the Bills stay aggressive, then they'll give up points, but they'll also force turnovers and mistakes by the opposing offense. And I really think that this is the recipe to success for this Bills team. I mean,
no, exactly.
The defense is finding its stride approaching the bye week. The whole team is really. So, the coaching staff, they'll take what works and what doesn't, and they'll have an extra week then to perfect the recipe. And that should really worry our opponents that we face out of the bye week. But yeah, like I said, for this game, let's stay aggressive. We'll give up points, but at the same time, you have to trust your offense, right?
No, exactly. I mean, it's. I think we go out. We demolished Seattle's secondary. Cardinals secretary. Cardinals secretary. Yes, they're playing. They're playing on Sunday. The Cardinals secondary. They did get shredded up a little bit by Tua and the Dolphins on there, but
yeah, Tua had a great completion percentage in that game,
and it's something that we can, providing that Brown is fit and we get the whole cast and ensemble back fit and healthy.
I believe Mitch Morse is practicing.
Yeah, which is good. Which means then we can kick Feliciano out to one of the guards and have the Winters.
We definitely can't allow 7 sacks again.
No, I think obviously that had to do with the O-line, the swell on a couple of occasions on there, but having Morse back, Feliciano, and one of the guard spots, and then most likely going to be Winters because Ford hasn't practiced again this week.
Right.
Having that's probably going to be more solid than ever. And obviously Darrell Williams at right tackle has probably been the most underrated signing that we've actually had this season.
Oh yeah, unsung hero for sure.
Yeah,
but I think. Go ahead.
I just think it's just a case of just obviously attacking. I mean, their defense is ranked 14th on there, so they're kind of good, kind of on the upward trend. But it's just the way we've got that ability. We're fourth in passing, and we can just dissect any opportunity. We know that Josh can go deep. We know he can audible at the line. He's good on the intermediates, and he's even better against the blitz. I mean, I've been reading an article on his plan to beat the blitz, and he's actually and let me just read a little snippet from it. It's in 2019. He only had a 74.9% passer rating against the blitz, 9 touchdowns, 4 interceptions, and a 50.3 completion percentage. In 2020, he has a 114% passer rating when blitzed. First through the first 9 games, 9 touchdowns, 1 interception, 61.6 completion percentage. So he is, and only 4 sacks on 90 dropbacks. So he knows how to play the blitz, and this offense picks up the blitz on the quite well. So we do that, and you're now forcing Arizona to make huge adjustments to try and get Allen down.
Yeah, the weird thing about their defense is, and I'll talk about this in a minute, but I mean, they haven't really played any like tough. They've played Seattle, obviously, but as a whole, when you look at Arizona's defensive statistics, it's weird to gauge them because they've played they played the second easiest schedule in the league. I'll just say that statistically. Yeah. So I mean, let's focus on Arizona. Their 3 losses are to teams that I think we would expect the Bills to beat: Detroit, Carolina, and Miami. So Arizona's lost all 3 of them. At the same time, though, for as bad as that sounds, they're only 1 game removed from being a much more impressive 5-2 after their overtime win against Seattle. They could have went to overtime against Miami if not for a missed field goal. So it's tough for me to really gauge what this Arizona team is. In last week's game is a real interesting one. A lot of guys in my fantasy football group chat said that they're worried about Miami sneaking up behind us. So I wanted to look at that Arizona game against Miami and really see if there's any information I can glean from it.
Go for it.
So by all statistical indication, Arizona should have won that game. They outgained Miami by 130 yards. They had time of possession. I think that the nail in the coffin actually came in the first quarter when they gave up a fumble touchdown to good old Shaq Lawson. I mean, Arizona was able to recover. I mean, I want to say Miami got lucky, oddly. Arizona botched a 4th and 1 with 5 minutes left in the fourth quarter, and that turnover on downs led to Miami's go-ahead field goal. And then on their next drive, they ran the ball unsuccessfully on 2nd and 3rd down that led to them having to kick a field goal on 4th down. They definitely didn't deserve to lose last week. I mean, Kyler Murray had a quarterback rating of 150. He ran for 106 yards, 4 total touchdowns. Honestly, I'd put that loss on Arizona's coaching staff, which, gives me hope, knowing and believing that McDermott, Dable, and Frazier can outcoach their opponent this week.
Yeah, I think it's good. I mean, obviously, we're now going to have to game plan really, really carefully now when we go to Cardinals. We may have to bring back the blueprint for the Ravens last year. When what we did to Lamar Jackson to halt his running ability.
Yeah, then you just got to rely on your offense to be able to outscore them then. If you can contain a running quarterback, you just got to make sure that your quarterback doesn't stink up the place. And Baltimore's defense last year is better than Arizona's defense this year. So, if we have that same blueprint, that'll work, I think.
Yeah. I mean, I'd rather Murray beat us through what he could do with the air and the weapons than what he can do on the ground.
Now, real quick though, I mean, I thought that too. I was thinking if you keep Kyler in the pocket, maybe you have a chance to beat him. But he's got a 68% completion percentage. It's just like a few fraction of a points off from Josh. He's got a 99 quarterback rating. For reference, Allen's a 107. I mean, he's truly a dual threat quarterback. I mean, his ability to, I mean, early in the season, he was just looking at Hopkins, but lately he's been able to spread the ball around. Christian Kirk has really come on. So, we see that Trey White is on the injury report, did not practice with his ankle. I mean, if he's out, then you would expect the Cards to just force feed D-Hop the ball. So I wouldn't say that forcing Kyler to throw would be the recipe for success. It's pressuring him like we did Russell.
Well, yeah, pressure that, but then obviously you take away his ability to run, obviously with best pressure as possible. I mean, he'll gain if he runs on first downs, he can gain 7-8 yards, which already put them in actually able to let him move the field a lot quicker. I mean, if they're going to be without Drake, they're going to be relying on Chase Edmonds. He's had a few decent games. He did nothing in the Miami game. It was mainly Kyler running. If you can limit what he can do on his run to say 2 or 3 yards, then that's probably the best way you're going to beat him. Just let him air it out. If we've got Hopkins, if we've got White, he'll be on Hopkins. You just got to hope that Levi can take care of Christian Kirk, and just hope that whoever they put on the in the slot, which we know will probably be Taron Johnson, can keep an eye on Isabella, who's a speedy guy, or Fitzgerald. So they're going to play him more on the inside. But you take away those weapons, and then he is going to have to force him onto the ground. And we've seen what we're like against quarterbacks running and running backs recently. We've been struggling with the exception of the last couple of games. But when you've got Murray, who's electric as that, and actually you can make those moves, I'd rather stop him gaining 7 or 8 yards on first down or even second down, and actually just make him throw it and actually and beat us. Should we have Trey White through the air? If we don't have Trey White, then he could beat us either way, hands down. Trey White's going to lock down D-Hop. So you just limit what he can do in the scrambling, and then you've got a recipe for success. It may be not the official blueprint and the final blueprint, but you've got a section of that blueprint to actually to implement.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, like I said, it's tough to understand who this Arizona team is. Looking at their schedule, they beat San Francisco in week 1 when San Francisco was at their best. They beat Seattle close. Other than that, I mean, wins against Washington, the Jets, and Dallas don't speak to a team that's had a tough challenge so far this season.
No, exactly.
It's interesting to see how they compare to us. I mean, their strength is a lot like ours. QB1 and wide receiver 1 are the stars of the show. You have a highly drafted quarterback and a traded for new wide receiver. Both teams have good wide receiver depth, a so-so running back stable, and a quarterback who can on any given Sunday lead their team in rushing. I mean, these are 2 top 5 NFL offenses. It should make for another stressful, fun game.
Yeah, I think in the end of the day, it is going to come down to who can score the most points. I think giving us the edge really on offense over the Cardinals. I know our run games actually start to improve a lot more, and we know pretty much the reason why is because Feliciano is actually back in that starting lineup. But we just now got to hope we can see the Seattle Bills defense come out. If they can get that, as you say, if they get that pressure, they can get those sacks, they can force those turnovers. I know Murray is actually can be quite protective of the ball, doesn't turn it over as much as people would think.
Yeah, they've only allowed 10 sacks this season, second best in the league. So it's going to be tough to get to him because of his scrambling and their offensive line.
So if we can get back to that, and obviously get our offense carrying on from where they left off, and actually going back into the week 1 to 4 thing, you then have to look at it and say, yeah, this team can actually can make that playoff and actually take that AFC East championship. I mean, at the moment we're number 3 seeds. We're the 3rd seeds, and we're due to play. I believe it was the Raiders. I believe if the playoffs ended today at home.
Yeah, I mean it's the AFC North that worries me the most, because it's going to be either Pittsburgh or Tennessee is going to be. Hang on, let me give it a look real quick.
Pittsburgh,
Yeah,
Tennessee's in the South.
South. Yeah, sorry. Sorry. I'm not. I'm looking ahead when I shouldn't be. Staying on Arizona. Let's not get ahead of ourselves with playoff talk. But,
Yeah.
For what the Bills' offense can expect from Arizona's defense, they're not as bad as Seattle's in the secondary. It will be tougher out there, but plays can be had. Arizona's played some really soft offenses. I mean, I'm going to keep going back to that. I mean, if you can compare Buffalo's offense to Seattle, which looked very similar last week, obviously, Seattle was able to play Arizona really tight and really high scoring. I really feel like if Josh is even 70-75% of what he did last week, let's say 300 yards and 3 touchdowns, you should expect a win. And I'm going to say something that's remarkably obvious. Nobody who analyzes football ever needs to say this out loud, but I will. Don't turn the ball over. Limiting Arizona's, right? Mind-boggling, right?
But Matt, how did you come to that conclusion?
Unbelievable. I'm really going out on a limb here. Obviously, limiting Arizona's offense is key to coming out of the desert with a win. So having the ball more than them, making sure that we, just play that, aggressive but smart game. You still kind of never know what you're going to get with Josh Allen. He's been a lot better this year by far. But I mean, it's one of those things that with Buffalo's defense, you can't even have one turnover. And that's a little bit stressful,
Yeah. I think it's going to be an interesting one. I mean, as I said earlier, with Josh, it's now how he's actually diagnosing himself on that. I'm going to just quickly go back to the offense, and something that I read that people may not have noticed, that most of the calls, and look out for this when we go on to third and long plays, that Josh Allen will actually start saying gold rip or gold tornado, which is a way of actually getting John Brown involved, and that's how he actually got the screen game up for John Brown to go 33 yards. So keep an eye on that. But
good stuff, yeah.
But we've got it. We've got the offense now how we want it. We just open back up that 1 to 4 week playoff, 1 to 4 week playbook, and I think that we will actually we will win, and it'll be a Seattle type game. So we'll take the lead quite early, get out of the block, then actually and obviously suffocate them as best as possible. So they'll have to keep playing catch up. Rather than actually just trading points for touchdowns each drive. But I have a massive feeling that we can do it, and the injury report is really hopeful of what we can actually do. Because I mean, as you mentioned, we had Tre'Davious White not practicing with his ankle. Obviously Cody Ford again not practicing. Mitch Morse back, which is good. I'm just looking through the list. Josh Norman's still limited. Brian Winters.
I honestly don't need Josh Norman to come back and play again. I don't need that.
Brian Winters did not practice with his knee. Obviously, Jerry Hughes had a veteran rest day. So did John Brown.
Yeah.
But it's
not. Yeah, we're recording this before the Thursday injury report is out, so things could change by the time we finish recording.
It's not as bad as what we've had previously on there.
Yeah.
So it in the end, it's just seeing how that works. I mean, obviously we know, will we see, well, we may not see Darren Lee this week because he's not one of the protected squad players, but who knows, they may still call him up if needs be. But they've got the new signing, is it Damien or Darren Wally? I can't remember how his first name. I know it began with a D. I think it's Damien Wally.
I can't say I remember seeing that.
What's his name?
Wally
W-O Wally. Yeah, Wally, that's the one.
Okay.
He's a protected player. Jake Camaro is protected, as well as the two offensive linemen. So that's who they got protected. So we may be seeing, and hopefully seeing, AJ Klein actually use the I was not selected AFC Defensive Player of the Year as motivation to sack Kyler and give him a hard time. But
yeah, I mean, I would. The best I could hope for is that we give him a hard time, not sack him, because I don't think we're going to get to him very often. If we get any kind of pressure, it's just going to be, a QB hurry. It's so tough to bring him down because he's so, shifty. So in conclusion, I would say that I wanted to come out of these two games with a split, and I still think that's going to happen. I want to say that Kyler Murray is a bigger challenge than Russell Wilson is because of his ground game and how bad we are against the run. So I'm going to say 28-27 Cardinals.
Ooh, I can't remember what I actually said previously. I know I said I still stuck by what I said last week when we would beat Seattle on there. I think we will. I think we will win. I think we go up. We come out of this 8-2.
I hope so.
As much as I see it, I can see us coming out of it 8-2. So it's good. We've got that offense. We've got that continuity, and it's always nice to go into a bye week with a bit of momentum.
Yeah, and here's what I wanted to say about that playoff seeding. If we do end up getting the 4th seed as the division winner, that's what I don't want, because the second place in the AFC North is going to be either Pittsburgh or Baltimore, and obviously Pittsburgh undefeated right now, but if they struggle like they did against Dallas, and Baltimore can maybe win the division, last place division winner plays first place wild card, and that's going to be Pittsburgh or Baltimore, and I don't want that for our first playoff game. So we're going to need to take that 3 seed, which means that we need to do better than the AFC South winner, which is going to probably be Tennessee. And like you said, that first game right now, from where we are, that first game would be against Las Vegas or Miami. So definitely need to be the 2nd or 3 seed. Do not want to be the 4th seed.
No, exactly. The home seed gets your 1st and 2nd. Or the first, obviously, you get home field advantage for the rest of the playoffs. 2nd and 3rd will be home. But I can see us do it. I can see Allen going for another 350 yards on here, and I can see this time I can actually see John Brown and maybe Davis or maybe Beazer. I could see any one of the 4 actually get 100 yards. Maybe even more. So, it's 2 high explosive offenses, 2 steady defenses will make a good battle in the desert.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it, and I also really enjoy watching Red Zone for those 6 p.m. games, so that'll be fun.
Yeah, and this time I may not have the missus actually watch both games. She watched pretty much the whole of the Bills game, and then she watched pretty much like the first half of the Dolphins game.
She must have hated watching that Bills game with you, because if I was yelling, I'm pretty sure you were yelling too. So how'd that go?
She managed to get through it.
Okay, yeah.
Lucky for me that she had a bit of a cold developing. So
how crazy did you get during that game?
Not as crazy as people would actually think.
Oh,
I had
really? Oh,
to
so I was
tone
the
it.
unhinged one this week. Okay.
Yeah, I wasn't as crazy. I still celebrated. They still actually cursed the officials here and there, but I wasn't really over excited. I know that
Interesting.
I was eating dinner at the same time, so if
Yeah.
I was going to be
Yeah.
overexcited, I'd be having dinner all over the
Over the TV.
floor.
Yeah. So I guess things are shifting. You're becoming more statistical, and I'm becoming more emotional. It's crazy. It's a crazy thing
Yeah,
this season.
well, I'm more statistical after games. Usually
Yeah.
before and the previews, you're the statistical one,
Right.
and
Right.
after I'm the statistical one.
Yeah.
So
Good point. Good point. Good point. All right.
no,
Well,
it's
we got you're picking the Bills and I'm picking the Cardinals.
uh,
Just because things need to come back to normal. If we win this game, then oh my God, Super Bowl. But right now I'm just trying to keep myself grounded and just say take the
yeah.
loss. But yep,
I think
so that's where we're at. Wrap it up.
wrap it up. Oh God, that was quick. And I did not get to say my final say. I didn't have a
Oh,
final.
okay. You got one more
I
thing?
did
Go
not
for
have
it.
a final. I did not have a final say anyway, but
Okay.
I just like the momentum going in. Everyone's going to be buoyed by going into the bye at 8-2. Then you've got an easier sort of run until we get to like the Steelers game.
Oh
So
yeah, a win here
confidence,
would make a loss to the Steelers that much easier to deal with. So
but then we'll ask ourselves: have the Steelers actually played anyone worthy of actually taking them down?
that's
They
a good
got really
point.
lucky.
We can discuss that, but it also would take an extra 20 minutes. So
True,
let's just
true,
we'll worry
but
about that when
yes,
we get
no,
there, right?
yes. So as we always say on everything, show us the love and hit any like, follow, and subscribe button on Twitter, on Facebook, on Instagram. So at UK_Bills on Twitter, at RWBB_podcast on Twitter, Buffalo Bills UK YouTube, Buffalo Bills UK on Facebook. And I will be, because after this week we're going into the bye week, getting up the details to get involved in the raffle. And it's a signed jersey, a signed Andre Reed jersey. So I'm going to get those details up during the Cardinals game or just after for the bye week, and hopefully on our 100th episode, which is coming in what, about 3 episodes time, I believe.
All right, sounds good.
Hopefully we'll get all the tickets sold by then, and we can draw them on the review show, on the 100th episode show. So keep
Cool.
following and showing all the love. And for Alex, this is Matt saying good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Thank you for listening. Continue following and subscribing, and go Bills.
Go Bills.